trade rumors, team drama, and a struggling season. The Chicago Bulls are in the spotlight, but not for the reasons they'd hoped. Now, their star center Nikola Vucevic is pointing fingers. But is he speaking the truth, or just making excuses? Welcome to Chicago Bulls News, your go-to source for the latest updates on the Windy City's favorite team. We've got you covered with breaking news, trade rumors, and in-depth analysis of everything Bulls. From United Center to the front office, we're bringing you the inside scoop. Hit subscribe and let's talk Bulls basketball. Today, we're diving deep into some Chicago Bulls news that's been making waves. We're going to break down Nikola Vucevic's recent comments about how trade rumors may have affected the team's performance. But the big question is this the truth or just an excuse? Let's get into it. The Chicago Bulls have been a bit of a roller coaster this season, and recently, their star center Nikola Vucevic dropped a bombshell. He suggested that trade rumors surrounding the team might have played a significant role in derailing their performance. Now, before we dive into Vucevic's comments and what they might mean for the Bulls, let's quickly recap where the team stands. It's clear that the Bulls haven't quite lived up to expectations this season. But is it fair to blame trade rumors for their struggles? Or is this just an attempt to deflect from other issues? We're going to break it all down, look at the facts, and try to separate the truth from the excuses. Vucevic is essentially saying that the uncertainty surrounding potential trades had a significant impact on the team's mindset and, consequently, their on-court performance. It's worth noting that Vucevic himself was the subject of some trade rumors earlier in the season. There was speculation that the Bulls might look to move him before the trade deadline, given his expiring contract and the team's inconsistent performance. But it wasn't just Vucevic. Other key players like Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan were also mentioned in various trade scenarios. So, there's no denying that there was a cloud of uncertainty hanging over the team for a good portion of the season. Now, let's take a step back and consider how trade rumors can affect a team. It's not uncommon for NBA players to talk about the mental toll that trade speculation can take. After all, these are human beings we're talking about, with families, homes, and established lives in their current cities. When a player's name is constantly popping up in trade rumors, it can create a sense of instability. They might start to question their place on the team, wonder if they should be fully invested in the current season's goals, or even begin to mentally prepare for a potential move. This uncertainty can absolutely affect on-court performance. We've seen it happen with other teams in the past. Remember the Anthony Davis situation in New Orleans a few years back? The entire team seemed to lose focus once it became clear that their star player wanted out. But here's the thing, trade rumors are a part of the NBA. They happen every season, to almost every team. The question is, do they really have as big an impact as Vucevic is suggesting? Or is this more of an excuse for underperformance? Now, looking at all these factors, it's clear that the Bulls' struggles can't be attributed to just one thing. Trade rumors might have played a part, but they're certainly not the whole story. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. NBA trade rumors are nothing new. They happen every single season, to almost every team in the league. It's part of the business of basketball. Think about it. How many times have we heard players from other teams talk about tuning out the noise and focusing on basketball? It's practically a cliché at this point. Take the Boston Celtics, for example. They've been dealing with Jaylen Brown trade rumors for years, yet they've managed to remain one of the top teams in the East. Or look at the Phoenix Suns, who have had constant speculation about Chris Paul's future but still perform at a high level. The reality is, professional athletes are expected to handle this kind of pressure. It's part of the job description. When you're making millions of dollars to play basketball, dealing with trade rumors comes with the territory. That's not to say it's easy. Of course, it can be stressful and distracting. But the best players and teams find ways to use it as motivation rather than letting it derail their season. Now, let's consider the possibility that Vucevic's comments might be more of an excuse than a valid explanation. It's human nature to look for external factors to explain our shortcomings. In sports, we see this all the time. Remember when the Bulls had their infamous circus trip every November? For years, players and coaches would point to that long road trip as a reason for early season struggles. But eventually, people started to question whether it was really that big of a factor. In Vucevic's case, it's worth asking, is he deflecting responsibility from himself and his teammates? After all, the Bulls' core players are veterans who have been through trade rumors before. Is it fair to say that this season's speculation affected them more than in previous years? Moreover, if trade rumors were really such a significant factor, why didn't we hear about this earlier in the season? Why wait until now, when the playoffs are approaching and the team is facing increased scrutiny? These are tough questions, but they're important to consider when evaluating Vucevic's comments. Regardless of whether you believe Vucevic's explanation or see it as an excuse, the fact remains that the Bulls are at a crossroads. The team's performance this season has raised serious questions about their future direction. Do they have the right mix of players to compete at the highest level? Is the current core of Vucevic, LaVine, and DeRozan capable of leading this team to a deep playoff run? Or do the Bulls need to consider breaking things up and starting a rebuild? These are the questions that the front office will need to grapple with in the offseason. And ironically, their decisions might lead to even more trade rumors next season. But here's the thing, if the Bulls want to take the next step and become true contenders, they'll need to find a way to block out the noise. Whether it's trade rumors, media criticism, or any other external factor, championship teams find a way to stay focused on their goals. So, what's the verdict? Are Nikola Vucevic's comments about trade rumors derailing the Bulls' season truth or excuse? The reality is, it's probably a bit of both. There's no denying that trade rumors can affect a team's chemistry and individual player performance. But it's also true that the best teams and players find ways to overcome these distractions. The Bulls' struggles this season are likely the result of multiple factors, including inconsistent play, injuries, and yes, possibly some uncertainty due to trade speculation. But at the end of the day, professional athletes are expected to perform regardless of external circumstances. As we look ahead to the rest of the season and beyond, the Bulls will need to find a way to tune out the noise and focus on basketball. Whether that means making major changes in the offseason or doubling down on the current core, only time will tell. What do you think, Bulls fans? Do you buy Vucevic's explanation, or do you think it's more of an excuse? Let me know in the comments below. And hey, if you enjoyed this deep dive into the Bulls situation, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more NBA analysis. Until next time, signing off. Peace.